Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Xenosaga Episode 2. Last time, we did pretty much all that remains of the GS campaigns, save for cashing in this one. If you go and talk to him after rescuing his kid, you will get a very worthwhile reward. As well as, of course, the succeeded message, which we always like to see. Please take this. Secret Key 10 Inner Peace, one of the best mastered skills in the entire game. Speaking of skills, I've spent a little bit of time stealing from the Grip Sister, the boss that we fought in the end of the last episode there. And let's go over some of the new skills that I've learned. I've already learned them for everybody, but we have Attacker and Defender, as well as the Strength ones, which I don't care about. This is the only real one that's useful. It's only useful on your attacking characters, so not Xion and not Momo. So they raise physical attack power, lower your defense. Defense doesn't really matter when you're annihilating enemies in a long chain, so that's kind of how that works. So I think that's all I did there. I also put the last point in for EP Regen that we got, or regen, or however you want to call it. Level 2, of course, I mentioned this. This was the secret key we just got. Raises evasion after using stock. So because we spend the entire first half of most battles stalking, this raises our evasion so we don't get annihilated. This is good. This should have been there by bloody default. I don't really know why it wasn't, but anyway, that's great. Everyone's going to learn that. It's a mastered skill, so everyone gets it. Best, pretty much one of the best, if not the best, mastered skill in the game. Which one else? I learned this set, mainly for Ether Spear. I just maxed it out because I needed the additional class points for raising Ether attack power. Obviously, that's for Xion and for Momo. What else have I learned recently? No. I think no, I already did that one. I think I already got most of these. Oh yeah, I've maxed out these ones now. So I have critical. Charge time is really pointless. Why not just heal twice? Chances are you'll be full by then anyway. Some of the skills in this game just really suck. So critical is good because that transfers over to your mech fights, and there are not really that many good skills to transfer over to your mech fights, so probably have that on most of the time for most of my characters there. For mech fights, this one is useful to learn, and I may end up learning it, but like this increases your ability to recover from statuses. Either that's on the... I'm not sure if this affects the caster or the recipient of the spell. I would guess it would be on the recipient. I would guess. I don't know. Most of those are pretty much useless. Last Revenge isn't bad. Anyway, we have some extra points. I'm not really going to spend them right now, but when I do, they will be invested in the last level 4. Now, I don't think there's a good ability, spell, skill, whatever in Class A, so we're going to leave that alone. Class B has, I think, 2 useful ones, this being one of them. It's a mastered skill, that's why it's useful. Annihilation isn't bad because it clears status effects. It's not good for damage, but there's like 1 or 2 bosses it can be useful on, so I may learn it for that. We'll see. That's why I'm leaving myself a lot of extra skill points going forward, as well as class points, because I'm going to unlock these 3 here, and I'm not going to finish them unless I just happen to get extra points to do so, because most of the skills in them aren't great. Most of these ones are. I may end up maxing out this one. Status resist 30, it's alright. One of the guides on GameFAQs lists that you might be able to use this like 4 bosses ago. How would you have this? Why would you waste 2,400 class points to unlock it when you can't even max this out for way into the future? I think you can max this one out by the final boss, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. It might be just after the final boss. This, of course, is good. There's a couple other good skills that you get here. This one, most of the things here are junk. The first one we'll actually get relatively shortly. It's actually useful and required in one boss fight. So, yeah. Anyway, enough dicking around. We've finished up all of them. We've done all the segment addresses that we can. We've done all of these that we can until post-game. They're all completed, all successful. That's great. So with that being said, I'll just show off these real quick. So we only got 4 of these left. 2, 3, and the 4th one. There we go. So with that being said, I will meet you on the Bridge of the Elsa, and we will head for Omega. Okay, we're back on the Elsa. I did forget one thing to show off there, which is level 2. That one. I did get all the coats for the elemental things. Not that I will probably use them unless I get to a boss fight where it looks like it'll be useful, but I have those now, just so I let you know about that. One final note is, if you are going to do all the stealing that I did, once you have these skills, this is probably the best setup for it. EP regen and EP half. It only costs 2 EP to steal, and you'll never run out, so you never have to go back and heal, and you can always just throw out other healing spells as you go. Rare plus 30, of course, will make it easier to steal. Just to kind of show off what I will be using coming in here. We got that, we got that, got that, and Ether Burst. Pretty straightforward setup. Now, I have most of my other characters set up this way, though the characters that are going to be in mechs are set up this way. So, KOS-MOS, and Momo, and Junior. And that's not what I meant to do. I'm still used to playing other games where circle is cancel. Alright, so let's go to the Omega system. Now, for whatever reason, we get a cutscene, but it's not a cutscene, it's basically the equivalent of a docking sequence, even though we don't actually see any docking. So, no counter today. But yeah, we just kind of fly in, and you get to see that every time. Now, after you've already come here once before, you won't have to watch that cutscene every time, because as soon as you step foot out here, you will automatically be positioned outside when you fly to Omega System at any future points. The theme almost sounds lazy, but I like it. It's kind of like calm and it's ominous, but it's relaxing. Just maybe it's the high amount of bass or something like that. It just makes me want to go take a nap or something. Not probably what they were going for with the composition, but I enjoy the theme, so I guess that's all that's important, at least to me. I guess that'll be up to you whether you like it or not. The one on the left is empty. Basically what this does, you have these options now. So stop, go this way. Seamless transition, wasn't it? Yeah, I forgot to re-equip and reset up my characters. I will show you what my setup is beyond this. Do note that even though these guys kind of look the same, they are actually different. They have different amounts of HP, and they have different weaknesses. I have pretty much set up my mechs to deal with most of their weaknesses, so I'm going to be stalking in most fights, charge up to 200, unleash an attack that probably will one-shot the person I'm trying to target. Most of the mech fights in here, they just have so much HP that it takes just as much time, or even less time, to charge up twice and then attack versus just hitting them a bunch of times. So Wings of Light, very important ability in here because Aura Slash. So the one on the left, the Anthema, or whatever, is 200% weak to Aura, 125 to Thunder, 200 to Slash, and 150 to hit. The one on the right is the Marantha, or whatever, and is 125% to weak to Beam, Aura, 200% to Thunder, and that's pretty much it. So with Wings of Light, we want to target the one on the left. Seriously, you evaded it? Normally that does about 12,000 and is more than enough to knock that one out. This one, Tornado Fist, which is Thunder and Strike. Remember, this one is weak to both. Or rather, sorry, just weak to Thunder. The other one is weak to both, so you can kind of use them interchangeably. That's kind of how I go about it. Do note that that one's stock, which means he's more likely to interrupt your attacks. And of course, you're going to deal some damage to me now, which is kind of annoying. And they do talk a lot. It's unfortunate. Normally, I would only have to stock twice and then unleash attacks and be done with it, but... Okay, so let's try for you one more time. And these guys do like to guard. They also have some decent evasion and some powerful attacks, so be aware of them. Wings of Light is the better of the two attacks, since it pretty much guarantees you a one-shot. The other one, you may have to use the move command to try and be in behind, but because of combo boost, we can, you know, move ourselves and then boost at the same time so that we get another attack right away. Can I go through that door, please? Thank you. And through here, that was pretty fast. The first place we can go in this dungeon has one of these. This dungeon is kind of weird. And, well, it's kind of weird because it's separated into sections. Secret Key 28. This is one of the skills we will need to learn later. Let's just show this off real quick here. Yeah, 9,600 points. Now you have some kind of an idea of why I did all the grinding I did, because without doing the steel grinding that I've done in this game, there is no way to get all of these. In fact, I won't be getting all of these skills in this playthrough, because there really is no point. Most of them suck, and usually you max out an entire thing just to get one or two skills. Best ally you need for like one or two bosses. You're pretty much guaranteed every time the boss will hit you, you'll die. So, anyway. Basically what I was saying is about the aspect of this dungeon being unique is it's compartmentalized into different sections, and in one section, the section we're in, we're only going to encounter those two enemies that we've just encountered twice. So yeah, the only enemies you're going to encounter are those ones in this section. We'll go to the next section, we'll do a character style bunch of battles where you only encounter 4 enemies. And then you'll move on to the next section where you only encounter 2 different mech enemies, and another section where you only encounter 3 different character enemies. So it's compartmentalized like that. It's kind of an interesting idea, and it makes it easier to set up your characters for an individual area, knowing you're not going to run into really annoying enemies with completely different weaknesses. Let's see what I'm doing here. So these are what I've set up here. Tune Circuit and Charge Recover and Charge Clean on you. Not that it really matters. You'll be charging a little more because you're a little faster. You get the Quick Charge so that I can get off your attack faster. Power Shield is additional defense for when you're guarding, so the few times you are guarding. Pretty much every time you encounter these groups of enemies, Wings of Light on the one that starts with A with more HP, one shot, Spiral Fist on the other, and then 2 square attacks. Now, pretty much either of these 2 enemies, you want to use square attacks on, except with the Dina, where you can use triangle attacks on the one that starts with A, the one that was on the right-hand side. Everyone else is pretty much boring. So the item on the right side this time is pointless. The box has nothing in it on the other side, not the item. There is no item. There's an item here containing a nanosphere, which I probably won't use. Anyway, we're going down. It's kind of a strange way to go into a new area where you just basically go down the elevator shaft over and over again and fight the same kind of enemies. It's not really an interesting design, I guess. I don't know. There we get Nano Repair Z, which I don't really need. And I would like to stop and go to this side. Here's an important note for later. It appears you cannot cross in your ESs. The only way you can get across there is to beat the entire dungeon, beat the game, and load up your complete data, come back here, and you'll be able to load in your character form as well as your ES form. Then you can cross that. Kind of a roundabout way of doing it, but no, game. I want to go down. Thank you. There is one more enemy down here. There's also a trap if I can get lucky enough to hit it. There it is. I got a stock bonus and both my mechs started with 200 EC charge. That lasted 2 rounds. And they didn't get an attack off. That's funny. I love it. Only lasted 40 seconds. Anyway, once we get down here, we can exit our ESs for the first time. Pretty much every time I do this, I'm going to have to reset up my characters for their for character battles, so I'm going to do that. Okay, there we go. Just had to re-equip everybody, and this time I was able to set up the trap too, so we all start fully stocked. That's a feat of luck. And of course, they're both the same. Normally, there's 2 types of knights, and they both have different weaknesses. Type A is 200% weak to fire, reduced damage from all other elements, 150 to pierce, reduced from slash, normal from hit. So these ones are really designed for Ziggy to deal with, which is why he's in the party. You could bring Chaos along as well, but I would definitely recommend Xion for this dungeon. There are 3 out of the 4 enemies you fight early on are weak to Beam Thunder again, which will not continue beyond this dungeon, or even beyond this section of the dungeon, but anyway, she's useful at this point. I need to set up Fire Sword on somebody, don't I? Yeah, so these guys have a break zone of BB, and that's pretty much all the useful notes on them. Yeah, we'll waste them all just to make sure that this one dies and I get the extra points.
What am I doing?
I don't know. What are you doing? Yeah, this is why I didn't get all of those other abilities earlier in the game. See all these things that would get in the way of me trying to get to Psycho Pocket? Of course, I don't actually have EP half on at the moment. I took it off in favor of first combo because I like being able to kill enemies really quickly. Yeah, it doesn't matter who comes up next. I was about to say that could work. Unfortunately, now you're going to... Yeah, they like to scream Ormus, these Ormus Knights, and then do things that are in the script and they don't tell me what that does. I would guess that would increase their strength or something, but I'm just going to stalk around and we're going to boost you. And then you can finish him off. There we go.
What am I doing?
What are you doing? I have no idea.
Before the battle began.
There we go. We get some decent points for that. Basically, the way I'm going to handle the dungeon in the first half anyway is I'm going to bring in Xion and KOS-MOS because, well, Xion because she doesn't have a lot of use in the other areas and she won't be in the 2 boss fights in this area, well, 2 character boss fights. Ziggy and Chaos, and basically everybody else will be in a boss fight, but Ziggy and Chaos and KOS-MOS were lower on class points, so I'm not getting any class points from them, but I'm kind of compelled to use them at this point. So here we get an item, and a medkit M. Blow up that. Now we can show off one, I don't think it's the last new enemy. There's a total of 4 enemies in this part. Do I get 2 of them here? Probably. Yes, I get 2 of them.
I will show you what a real battle is like.
Because of a lack of originality, we have the same enemies we've been dealing with forever, just with more HP. Same weaknesses, 150% beam, 200% thunder. They're both weak to ether. Break zone for the Grizzly of CB, break zone for the Carnicos of, or however you pronounce that, of CC. So Xion again is the heavy lifter in this fight. Okay then. This is one of the ones where she's going to have to do all the heavy lifting. She usually needs, I think she only needs 2 attacks for this one, but we're going to set her up in case she needs a 3rd one to take these guys down. Okay, really? You had to boost then? You son of a bitch. Now you're just making the battle take longer. Okay, now no boost. Me boost. Thank you very much. And this guy is CB and knock you down. And it should only be 2 attacks, so about 4,000 damage. Well, I needed to hit it one more time. Of course I did. That's unfortunate. I will give her another stock and pretty much repeat. And it's unfortunate, but I didn't want to blow a whole nother attack, but it looks like I will do that at some point anyway. Okay, boost you in. You'll just do a normal attack, which should be enough to take down that guy. Just 1,000 damage by default. That's just nuts. I'm going to give one over to Ziggy, just in case I need him to be useful, which it looks like he will have to be. Right. And so CB down. Not particularly interesting for the final dungeon of the game. Yeah, we just started this game, it feels like, and we're already at the end of it. Now, that doesn't mean that the game is by any stretch over. No, no. The game is far from over. There is a lot left to do. Boost you. And you are CC. Yeah, but this is the final dungeon in the game. There are 3 bosses in this dungeon, and then they have the end game final boss that we jump into immediately after that. So, yeah, it's kind of abrupt storyline-wise. It kind of makes sense that this is the final dungeon, though they could have done pretty much anything else as well. It doesn't really matter too much, but it's kind of weird that after, you know, just kind of barely starting this game, we're already at the end of it, and most of the time, or probably half the time we've spent in this game has been on side quests and steel grinding. I guess in that respect, with the grinding part, it's kind of old school in that sense, where you have to do a lot of grinding to get competently leveled. But the side quest thing I could really use without. It'd be nice if I could just learn my abilities as I go through the game. Anyway, we've went over to that door, we've activated the door, which opens that up. In order to activate the second part, we need to head through this door. But that's pretty much all the time I have for today. So that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.